Hey there, we're Shannon and Jerry Arner, your hosts of the Arner Adventures Podcast.
We're a minimalist couple driven by intentional living and adventure.
Burned out from 24/7 grind of running our business, we traded the hustle and bustle for something more meaningful.
We parted ways with most of our belongings and moved to the coast.
Listen along as we chat about life's challenges, share inspiring stories, and help you live with more intention and less physical and mental clutter.
Each episode is a step toward doing and being just a little bit better for ourselves and the world around us.
Life's an adventure after all. Join us for the ride.
It's the Arner Adventures Podcast. Hello, everyone. I'm Shannon.
And I'm Jerry, and I'm back.
That's right. We are back for episode 128 of the Arner Adventures Podcast. Well, Jerry, you weren't really away last month. You just took a step away while we had our replays of some really great conversations to recognize Mental Health Month.
No, that's right. Away in my imagination at times, but around. I was around the whole time, and yeah, those conversations went really good for Mental Health Month. Yep, they were some of our favorites. In case you missed them, they are the last 4 episodes prior to this one. We revisited conversations with Ryan Schwartz, Lindsay Ferris, Lindsay Concher, and Kevin Berthia, all doing great things for mental health advocacy.
Yes, and now we're back with a new month, June, and we have a little bit of new news. We'll get into this in another episode maybe, but unexpectedly, we have a new fur baby who his name is Echo. If you follow us on social media, you've probably already been introduced, but he is a deaf dog that was in the shelter for a couple of years, most of his life. And again, we were not planning on adopting yet, but he's here. So if you hear some noise in the background, it used to be Betty, and now usually it was her snoring sometimes playing with the toy, but now it's a very active 2.5-year-old dog who has a lot of energy.
These are going to be some different noises.
That's right. Well, today's episode is kicking off our new guest episodes because we haven't done those in a while, but this guest is a great one to launch us into the new season of conversations.
Our guest today is Maya Lombarts. She has a really interesting story and name, and how she moved from Belgium to Peru, and how the Peruvian lifestyle allowed her a healthier mindset, slower pace, listening to her body, just all around interesting things. Yeah,
she's a great example of someone who took a leap for a lifestyle that was not expected, kind of like how we adopted Echo. And you know what? All three of us, actually 4 with Echo, we're all enjoying every second of our decisions. So we cannot wait to introduce you to Maya and let her tell you her whole story. Are you ready to get to the convo?
Yes, I am. Let's go.
Well, we're thrilled to have an amazing guest joining us today. I can't roll my tongue, so I'm going to say Maya Lombarts. Maya is originally from Belgium, and she's now residing in Peru. She's a versatile professional with expertise in business management, health coaching, and professional singing. Despite facing chronic health challenges in her youth, Maya's journey to self-discovery and healing led her to embrace the Peruvian lifestyle and functional medicine, restoring her health and vitality. Today, Maya serves as a trusted guide for online entrepreneurs, advocating for balance and well-being in both their personal and professional lives. With a passion for mindful living and sustainability, Maya's colorful teacups and love for journaling reflect her appreciation for simplicity and beauty, which we love. Her story is a testament to resilience and the transformative power of holistic wellness. Maya, thank you so much for being here.
That is the best intro ever. You should send that to me. No one has ever called me versatile professional before. I love that.
Well, you are. You definitely are. So you're in Peru right now, right?
I am in Cusco, Peru, where people go to visit Machu Picchu.
Okay.
As we're so close to the equator, there are no seasons here. So there's only dry season and rainy season.
Okay.
Right now is dry season. There's no cloud in the sky. It's very hot during the day, and it's very cold at night.
That's a good picture.
The whole year through, I can use my, today's teacup is greenish. So the whole year through, I can just have my teas and cover up with a blanket in the evenings, and I love it.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. Yeah. Oh, that's nice. Well, we have found that many of our guests have sort of a big transformative type thing. Like sometimes our guests have had a pivotal moment that really changed things for them. Sometimes people will say that something clicked. We love having guests on, and you're no different, who had sort of this happened and then now this led to this lifestyle. And so I would love it if you could kind of give us a little snippet of like, how did you get to Peru from Belgium? Can you give us more on that story? And then I know that you've talked before about the Peruvian lifestyle sort of contributing to more of a minimalistic approach for you. So I just kind of want to hear about what led to all of this and like your transformation.
Yeah, man, there's so much. Let me try to give you a summary on that. Because when I was 13, my favorite movie was Dirty Dancing 2. You know, when they go to Cuba and dance salsa?
Yes.
That was like that moment I told my mom, I'm going to live in South America. And she said, well, we'll see about that, right? And so when I was 14, we do have family in Spain. So I got curious about the Spanish language and I started studying Spanish. That became my hobby. I would use music and make my own vocabulary lists on paper back then, right?
Yeah.
There were no cool apps for that yet. And that became my hobby. I was studying Spanish. And then at university, I knew there was the option to do an internship abroad. So I said, hey, what if I do my internship somewhere in South America? And I saw the options, the collaborations between my university and South Middle America. And there was one internship in Mexico City, and another one in Cusco, in Peru. And so the one in Cusco was basically being the manager of a nonprofit where they teach single mothers to become Spanish teachers, and that way they have job opportunity and they teach Spanish to tourists. At the same time, there's an after-school program so volunteers can take care of these moms' kids. And I said, well, that's cool. I can have an impact in a very indirect way and still help out with the community and still have a lot of responsibility managing it all. So I said, let me just go to Cusco without knowing much about this place. And I knew the Machu Picchu was somewhere around here. And I knew it was very bumpy, like a lot of mountains and stairs up and down. But I had no idea what it was going to be like. And I must say I was a bit scared because I was only 21. And I was going to be here for 3 to 4 months. And now I've been here for 8 years. Yeah, I loved it so much. And I know when I was a bit scared to come here, I was like, I don't know what life in South America is like. Can I walk around by myself as a woman? I don't know. Do they have my favorite hair conditioner there? I don't know. I had so many questions, right? And then my mom said, you know what? Just go. And if you don't like it, you come back. It's as simple as that. Sometimes, these big life decisions of moving countries, it's just like, go, do it. And it's not definite, like you can come back.
It's interesting because I don't think many people do that. I think many people, of course there's so much to be said about planning and thinking about things and being, but being very spontaneous and doing that, I mean, led to you having this wonderful, it sounds like wonderful life in Peru that you love. Obviously you've been there for 8 years. So that good for you for taking that jump.
Yeah. And the initial plan was, 3 to 4 months. And then I had still the classic idea in my mind of, I had a boyfriend back then. So I wanted to go back to Belgium, move in together, graduate, have a job, and have the whole thing, the house and the kids and all the things. But then I loved it so much here. And I found like this place really made me develop my personality more. Because when you take yourself out of your own context, your own culture, and you drop yourself somewhere else, in a different culture where these people, Peruvians, have zero expectations towards me to behave the same as they do because they see me and I cannot pretend like I'm Peruvian, right? I don't look Peruvian at all. So they don't expect me to be like them.
Are you ready for your spring adventures? Well, we've got something amazing to make your travel experience a breeze.
Absolutely. Say goodbye to the hassle of checking your luggage and wasting time at the airport. We got the perfect solution for you.
It's our fave, the Base Carry-On Rollers, your ultimate travel companion for the season. With Base, you can pack smarter and lighter so you can make the most of your getaway.
We've been flooded with questions about how we manage to avoid checking our luggage, and our answer is simple. Pack smarter and choose Base.
Forget about those extra fees and waiting at that baggage claim. What a waste of time.
Waste of time.
The Base Carry-On Rollers are designed to fit all your essentials in one compact size so you can breeze through the airport without a worry. And they're super chic.
That's an understatement. Plus, we've got a special treat for you. Head over to arneradventures.com/base. That's BEIS and grab the link to save $15 off your first purchase.
Trust us, this is a game changer. All of our family and friends who've traveled with us at some point or another in the past couple of years, they all rely on Base luggage because they got tired of hearing me complain about how they were wasting my time.
That's right. So don't miss out on this incredible offer. Visit arneradventures.com/base to grab the link. It's also conveniently located in the show notes.
Surprise, surprise. Yeah. Get ready for happy travels and unforgettable adventures. Now back to the show.
They don't know what they're supposed to expect from me, so there's no outside expectations on the kind of person I should become. And that gave me a lot of freedom to really become the person I am today. So I kept adding on more time. I said, you know what? I like it here. 3 months more. Okay, maybe 6 months more. Then I found a job. I said, okay, there's a contract. So 1 year more. And I kept going. And after 3 years before the pandemic, I must say I tried moving back to Belgium because I still had that script in my mind of, okay, I'm having fun in Peru, but my real life is going to start in Belgium, right? European life is better, the benefits as an employee, and if I ever want to have kids and a partner and blah, 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 Belgium is better. So I tried, I moved back. I was there for a year in Belgium. And once I had the job, I had the meal vouchers and all the benefits you get there in a job, in a company. I didn't like it because I was so Peruvian already. From my 21 to my almost 25, my personality had already become very Peruvian. And even before moving to Peru, I had Latin friends who said, Maya, you have a Latin heart. Because I'm very touchy-feely. I love saying hi to people with a hug. I get really excited about meeting new people. Like, oh, here's this new personality. I wonder what they're like, you know?
Yeah.
And Belgians are not like that at all. They have their groups of friends from college and from their hobbies as a kid, and they just stay with those groups. And they don't meet new people. And here in Peru, I meet new people every day. And I have friends that I've had for 8 years now here too. But I also meet new interesting people, and I love it.
I think that's also, why we always think that it's so important for people to get out of where they grew up, even if it's travel just somewhere. Sometimes it's a different state, but very much if you can do a different country, just a different culture, it helps. Gosh, I feel like it just opens up your mind so much, and it helps you be more empathetic and open to other new, different things. And so, gosh, good for you for even a whole different lifestyle. And then I'm glad you explained what you meant by that, because I was thinking, what does it mean to have a Peruvian lifestyle? Or you went back to Belgium and you had more of a Peruvian, mindset. So I'm glad you explained that. How do you feel like that led to, and it's probably just me not understanding the Peruvian life, but how do you think that made you have a more minimalist approach?
I think in so many ways. So one, Peruvians don't really care about decorating their house all that much, so it's harder to find the stuff as well that you're looking for. It's not like one click of a button and you can buy whatever you want. You really
Yeah.
have to work for it and look for it here, you know? Just a
Yeah.
couple of months ago, Amazon started reaching Cusco. Just a couple of months ago, you know? So we're
Wow.
thrilled that we have more things at our disposal. But it's yeah, shopping is not a thing. There are no clothing trends. So every
Mhm.
time I go to Europe and to Belgium, I look around and see, oh, we're doing crop tops now. Oh, so it's wide legged, jeans now. Okay. And I learn. But here in Cusco, everyone's just wearing whatever. They buy their clothes at the market. There's no seasons, there's no discounts, like when the season changes and they're selling all the, summer sale or whatever, winter sale doesn't exist here. So I don't really go shopping here. It's not a thing. So that's the material minimalism, right? But then also in lifestyle, in your schedule, Peruvians only use a schedule for work, never for their private life. Nothing is scheduled. It's
Uh-huh.
absurd. If I put a dinner in my calendar, my Peruvian friends are like, "What are you doing?" Like,
Wow.
do you think you're gonna forget about that dinner? Like what? I'm like, well, in Belgium, we schedule dinners 3 to 4 weeks in advance, right? We're like, oh, so can you do Friday in 3 weeks? Oh, yeah. And then we schedule it and it's happening. Here, it's like, oh, what are you doing today? Hey, want to go for dinner now? It's very,
I
very much in the moment.
I love that, and I saw your video. You had done a video that really resonated with me, and we were going to get more into like work life balance and all of that, but you made this great example. You were talking about how we time block and we fill in our whole calendar, and which I do, and it sometimes that makes me feel very okay. Yes, I feel good about that, and then sometimes it's very overwhelming because I'm like, God, I just want to like go for a walk now, and oh, I've scheduled myself to do this, and you said to a friend, well, what if you were coming here and I had every single hour blocked? How would that make you feel? Like, is that what you would do on your trip? And you said the person was like, I'm starting to have anxiety about that. I was like, yeah, me too. Like, that's how I'm starting to feel. And so I think it's interesting that you say that sort of about scheduling dinners out. I'm very much that way, but I will tell you, I am more apt to follow through with a dinner if somebody says, what are you doing tonight? Than I am if I have it booked for 3 weeks. I start getting closer to it and I'm like, gosh, I just don't even want to do that.
Yeah, it has this weight,
Yes.
And so here, Peruvians, when they make plans, one, it's only like 1 day or 2 days in advance, maybe max.
Mm.
And also, a plan for them is just a plan. It's just an idea of what you might do that evening. So there's a thing here called double confirmation that I had to learn, because if you don't know that, you're going to suffer. So you need to, whenever you come to Peru, you need to double confirm anything before you leave your house, like half an hour before. Hey, so we're still meeting, right? Like, we're still doing this today, even if you talked about it this morning or yesterday, or always double confirm, because 50%, there's a 50% chance that the plan doesn't go through. So
Right.
I sometimes have 2 or 3 plans at the same time because I know one of them won't happen.
Oh my gosh, that is interesting. I would have
Yeah.
never even considered that as a way of life, is just to plan, things and then double confirm it and all that. Very much living in the moment I could think of, but not like that.
Yeah, and that helps me listen to my body. So
Yeah.
everyone, it's very okay to be flaky here and to just cancel because you're on the couch and you really want to don't you just really don't want to move. And so people just say that. Friends are like, "You know what?
Oh,
I had a rough day. I just want to be on my couch. Let's do this another day." "Oh, yeah, sure." And then they'll find someone else to go with because everyone's available. Everyone's planning last minute. So it really allows me to listen to my body and
yeah.
prioritize my health. Whereas in Belgium or in the US, anywhere where you're scheduling 3 to 4 weeks in advance, like you said, it gets this weight and you're like, I don't feel like doing it anymore. And so
Mhm.
you don't want to cancel because you feel guilty. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
but we scheduled this 4 weeks ago. So then if I cancel today, we have to schedule it again. And it will
Yeah.
be another month that passes by before I see this person. Right.
Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah.
here it's like, I can't do dinner tonight. Why don't we do lunch tomorrow? Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah. No, I can totally see how that would be so refreshing and listen to your body. And it is interesting that when we talk about this all the time about setting boundaries and not feeling guilty to tell someone you just don't feel like doing anything. And I think it's interesting that I know we, at least in America, have a habit of, well, what can I tell them as to why I need to get out of it? Because most
Yeah.
people don't just say, look, I'm not feeling it. I'm just tired. I don't feel like it. And I don't know if it's the other person wouldn't understand or if we're just don't want to admit it. I don't know. But it is interesting that we go, well, I'll just say, work ran over or I had an emergency, or it's like we would rather come up with
Yeah.
this whole story
And one of
than
my
just be honest.
favorites is that some people here say it's not my favorite, but they totally flake on you. So they don't respond to their messages anymore. And then a couple hours later or the next day, they're like, oh, sorry, I fell asleep. They never actually fell asleep. They just decided to ignore their phones.
So it happens in Peru too. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And there's a thing about combining people as well that I find so fascinating. It's so easy here to say, let's say you and I meet in Peru to go for dinner.
Uh-huh.
And then another friend is like, hey, what are you doing tonight? And I'd say, in a very Peruvian way, I'd say, well, I'm going for dinner with Shannon tonight, but just join if you want to, if you don't have anything, just join. So
Yeah.
we constantly invite each other to join, which is why you also meet new people every day.
Yes.
Right? So you meet the friends of the friends. Whereas in Belgium, whenever I visit my family, let's say there's a Saturday where I really feel like, oh, I think I feel like seeing people today, but I haven't made
Uh-huh.
plans. And I start asking around like, hey, what's your plan? Hey, what are you doing? And every single person, Belgian person, says, oh, sorry, I already have plans. And I'm like, why don't you include me in those plans then? Like, is there really nothing you can include me? Like, no one? So I end up having nothing because
Right.
people don't combine people.
That's it. That's such a great way of living life and being able to expand all the people that you know and understanding of other different people and all of that stuff. Do you feel like that? Well, I'm probably so. Do you feel like that lifestyle and being so flexible helps you help business owners like in your
Oh, yeah.
coaching entrepreneurs?
Oh, yeah. Because just being here physically, being in this energy, in this culture, it is so ingrained in me right now that it is easy, me sitting here and just on Zoom talking to clients from the US or from Europe. It's so easy to help them adopt a little bit of this mindset and
Yeah.
prioritize their bodies more and not fill up their schedules too much and leave empty spaces in that busy schedule, right? All those kinds of things. Because I'm here, I'm in it. When I'm in Belgium, I have to go with the Belgian rush and I have to schedule in advance. Otherwise, I don't see anyone. But I still need to practice leaving empty spaces. Like, I know sometimes I have a 1-month trip to Belgium planned. And I'm like, okay, I want to see these friends and I want to spend enough time with my family. And so last time I went, I showed my calendar to a Peruvian friend before leaving to Belgium. And I showed him the calendar and I said, look, every single day of my trip to Belgium is booked. I know exactly what's going to happen in my life in the coming month every single day. And he's like, that's so boring. That's so predictable.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what I do is I leave empty spaces because I know if it's too much, it's just you have to start canceling and your body starts screaming, right?
Yes. So I feel like, gosh, and it's you're making me think in a different way, which I love. I'm very productivity minded, but I also feel like sometimes I over schedule and try to be as productive as I can in taking care of myself too. I'm like, okay, so this hour I'm going to go walk or I'm going to go to yoga or whatever it is. And then same thing. It's so scheduled that I'm like, oh, but I feel like if I don't schedule it, I won't get it done. So can you kind of give me an idea of, some people have these habits where at the end of the day, they make a list of what they need to do the next day. Do you have things like that to keep yourself on track, like work-wise and self-care? Like what is your model, I guess as we should say?
Yeah. So I guess I have a couple of anchored habits, that I like to have. Like, let's say a morning meditation.
Mhm.
I'm not a morning person. I have quite the morning mood. So when I wake up, I crawl back into my bed and I put on a morning meditation. Sometimes it's 10 minutes, sometimes it's 20 minutes that I listen to a guided meditation. And that is a fixed habit that is so ingrained already in my day that really helps me get into the right headspace. Sometimes it's about business, the guided meditation. Sometimes it's more hypnosis. It's about money mindset. Sometimes it's stress relief, whatever I need that moment.
Mhm.
When I don't do it, sometimes I stop doing this habit. And when I don't do it, I feel a big difference in the way I just go about my day. So that is like a non-negotiable for me. It's that my way of waking up, right?
Yeah.
And so I don't turn on my Wi-Fi until after my shower, right? And preferably after making breakfast. So my phone's just still on airplane mode until I'm ready to start my day. Because otherwise, if let's say on a Sunday, sometimes I'm guilty of not meditating and I just turn around in my bed, turn on my phone, and I see all these messages come in and my mind gets scattered right away.
Mhm.
So that's a different mindset because you're training your brain to switch tasks and be like scattered from the first 20 minutes of your day. And that really sets the tone. So
Yeah.
I'd say one of those important things is those first 5 to 20 minutes of your day. Whatever you do there, that's going to set the tone for the rest of the day.
It's interesting you talked about I think I read in this article that it was called task switching and that our brains can't do it. Like we have this long period of time before we can get back on track. I'm a firm believer in if I really want to focus or get a project done. Yeah. I mean, I make sure my email is turned off. I'm on do not disturb. I can't have it because I have noticed how I cannot task switch very well at all.
Yeah.
And it's
think
interesting.
of,
We used to pride ourselves on multitasking and all of that. And now I'm like, there was no such thing. No one can really do
yeah.
it well.
No, it's brain energy, even
Yeah.
whatever you have. So that's where minimalism fits in beautifully because
Yeah.
even everything you have in your space, even when you're not, something's like right there. There's some scissors here. They don't have to be here, but they're there. So even when I'm looking at you, it's still in my, what do you say, like vision field, right?
Yeah.
So my brain is still processing everything that's present here without me even noticing. So that's taking a brain energy. So I like to look at it as a brain training, minimalism, anything from meditation to yoga to just focusing on one thing for a longer period of time. We need that now more than ever because we're in a world that switches really fast and there's social media and there's messages coming in and all these things train our brains to switch really quickly and get distracted quickly. So we need to kind of counter train that habit into focusing.
Yeah. Do you agree that sort of mindset also helps promote a healthier physical life?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, because it's also when you're meditating, when you're doing yoga, when you're just noticing your body. Because one thing Peruvians are good at is living in their bodies, right? And in Europe, in the US, we're not good. We're just living in our heads, in our headspace the whole time. And we're trying to think our way through everything, right? And reason our way out of things. And we're trying to combine, and everything's so mind focused that we forget to check in with our bodies. So sometimes it's like, oh, what am I feeling right now? What's my body asking for right now? And so having those empty spaces in your schedule too, I try to actually schedule empty spaces. So not only with work, not having too many meetings or not spending too much time on Zoom, really minimalizing that, but also in my social life. Like today I had a friend ask me, hey, do you want to meet up on Saturday, do something? And I'm like, well, I know I'm going to this concert on Friday evening, so I'm not sure. I want to be able to stay up late if I'm having a good time. If I bump into friends I haven't seen in a long time, we're having a good time, great. If I want to go to sleep early, great. But I don't want to commit to something on Saturday at all because I don't know how I'm going to feel.
That is wonderful.
I can see your head explode right now.
I'm like, that sounds so
probably,
easy. That's such an easy answer. Why can't most of us do that? I can't do that. I mean, I can. I just need to do it. But yeah, you're so right. It's like, why do we feel like we need to answer something right then and just, I don't know if I'm going to feel like that. I'm going to that concert Friday night. Yeah. Like, why don't we?
I'll have to play it by ear. It's a good, we'll just play it by ear. We'll just keep each other updated. Like, tell me what you're up to on Saturday and we'll see if we want to, if we still have time or we still feel like it.
Yeah.
And then maybe on Saturday, I do feel like seeing people because it's also about the social battery, right? If I see people a whole Friday evening, maybe I just want to lock myself up on Saturday and just spend an afternoon on my couch watching Netflix, whatever. And I want to have the space to do that if I feel like it. Yeah. So maybe on Saturday, maybe the sun is out and I do feel like going outside and I'll just ask around like, hey, what are you up to? Hey, what are you doing? And then someone might say, oh, I'm just walking around in the city center. I'm just wrapping up this thing. Let's meet there. Boom.
That's amazing. I always think that we end up, like you were talking about, you had these plans for what you thought your life was going to be like, and then it sort of changes. I know that I read that you had illness in your younger years, and then you live this life now that is more holistic and functional medicine. And do you feel like moving to Peru helped benefit your lifestyle in that physical way? Like, I guess what I'm trying to say is, do you find that living your Peruvian lifestyle, which now I want a Peruvian lifestyle, do you feel like that does, reflecting back, do you feel like, wow, this is sort of the way it was meant to be for me because I'm living a healthier life? I mean, do you think that contributes to it?
100%. Yeah. Because, yeah, it's funny. That's a whole different story. But yeah, I was struggling with chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia from the age of 15. I was only 15. So from the age of 15, I had to learn how to schedule empty spots in my calendar, right? So that's a skill that I've been building since I was 15 because I had to. My body was screaming at me. I had to listen to it. I had no other choice. Yeah. Hence the reason why I'm so good at it now. But then Peru fits in there perfectly because of the lifestyle we just talked about. And also the mountains, the dry air, the sun is here all year through. It does me so well because life in a way is slower in the mountains. It happens, I think, in many places that are more at higher elevation. People are just more, everything goes slower. Digestion goes a bit slower. So you eat lighter meals in the evening. So people take their time a bit more. And that fits in like a glove for my health and everything. I love it.
So your fast 5 questions are this or that. It's just fun things that are tailored to you. Number 1, Belgian chocolate or Peruvian coffee?
Belgian chocolate.
Okay. Number 2, singing on stage or coaching one-on-one?
Singing on stage.
Okay. Number 3, morning journaling or evening journaling?
Evening journaling.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 4, sunrise hikes or sunset strolls?
Sunset strolls.
Okay. Number 5, camping under the stars or cozy cabin stay?
Yeah, cozy cabin stay. Give me the luxury.
Okay. I can definitely see what you're saying, not the morning person. You're skewing more to the...
Although I'm more productive in the mornings, though, like from 9 to 1, that's my productivity window.
Okay.
But then still the activities, the social life, journaling as well. I like to have my Epsom salt foot bath and just have cleanse my space before, have some relaxing music on and journal about my life.
That's wonderful. And, I think when you do it at night too, it's more like, I feel like you can reflect more on on what you're grateful for that happened that day.
And I just like sleeping, so sunrise can do. No can do it.
Okay, the question that we ask everyone, Echo is wanting to hear it too, he's really excited about it, is Maya, what does a life well lived mean to you?
A life well lived for me is a life full of interesting experiences. Like when you can constantly keep expanding, just by traveling, like you guys are doing too, by learning new things, by taking courses, by just saying yes to things you've never done before, random things. I had an air yoga class recently, and I've never even done yoga. And it was so outside of my comfort zone, but just doing it for the experience of it, or having interesting mind expanding conversations with people, that for me is like, a life full of meaning and just a full life.
I 100% agree. I recently went to a yoga class that was different than some of the things I was accustomed to. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. And I was so glad that I did. It pushed me out of my comfort zone. And the instructor, I really liked her. And now I've gotten to know her. And same thing you were saying, just having these great conversations I wouldn't have had. And like this with you, like if, we weren't getting out, and even though we're in our homes, but stepping outside of where a lot of people would go is just to have these conversations. And I think when you just hear about different lifestyles and, it's just so important to know that other people live different ways than quote unquote the norm, and that that's okay. We get a lot of flack about things like that, but I think that once people hear the decisions as to what made you make those changes, they're very understanding, and maybe I'll try something like that. And so it opens up people to other options than what they think that they just have.
Absolutely. And even just these podcast interviews, like I met someone who interviewed me on her podcast, and then I met her in person when I was passing through New York. And so that was just a new contact, just a form of meeting these interesting people. Even a client of mine listened to an episode of me interviewing someone else, and my client became a client of that person, so it creates, even for the listeners, for you, for me, just for the people we meet, the stories we hear, the people we feel connected to. It just expands your world in so many ways.
Oh gosh, Maya, this has been so great. I feel like we could go even longer, but I want to make sure that we tell our audience where they can find you, how they can access any of the things that you offer. And you have a lot of different wonderful resources on your website, but can you tell everyone about where those are? And we're going to link them down in the show notes as well.
Oh, absolutely. So on my website, you can, one of the most popular free things I like to give away is a journal prompts ebook. And it's journal prompts specifically to zoom out of your busy life. So if you need that, the prompts actually follow a sequence that will help you with that. And you can download that on my website. That is mayalombarts.com. I'm sure you'll put my name in the description.
Yep, we will.
It's difficult to pronounce, but there it is. And then my Instagram is the same. It's at Maya Lombarts. And that's where, if you want to see some videos of me singing, I post them there. Or sometimes I just film some Peruvian streets when I'm walking around. You can follow my life there.
That sounds absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for spending time with us today. And this was scheduled, but hopefully you didn't feel pressure about it.
No. And I even, I know I postponed it because I had a sore throat, and I was like, you know what? I want to be in a good place with this interview and with you, just to have fun on this one. And so, it was rescheduled, but I love that we made it happen today.
And you know what? I didn't think twice when I read it. I was like, yeah, okay. So we all need to embrace that it's okay if someone reschedules or cancels, because things come up.
Yeah, that's another golden nugget there. I know in my coaching training, it was like, if you cannot show up in your best energy for a client, sometimes it's best to just reschedule and just be honest about it and just be human about it, I don't like it when clients reschedule too often, but sometimes just being human about that balance of, one day you might have to reschedule and one day I might have to do it, because I'm just not in that vibe, that energy I want to be in, right?
Yeah.
And that's totally okay. We're not robots.
We're not. We're not. Well, thank you so much for all of those wonderful nuggets, and we'll have to have you back on. I loved this.
I love this so much too. Thank you so much, Shannon.
Wasn't that a fabulous conversation?
Oh, yeah, it certainly was. It was wonderful.
I could have talked to Maya for much longer, of course. You know how these things go. And of course, you weren't able to be there, so you've now listened to it. What was maybe a key takeaway for you from the episode with Maya?
Well, the thing that stands out to me, Shannon, is the stacking. I think she called it the stacking, is when you have a plan with somebody and someone else calls and says, "Hey,
Oh, yeah.
let's go down to the bingo parlor," where, and you go, "Well, I can't do that because I have plans with Maya for coffee. Why don't you come along, drop the bingo for this week, and come along for coffee?"
That's right.
And it's called stacking, is what it's called.
I think she called it stacking. I know that we did talk about it sort of being like multitasking with people, which is amazing. I think if that were to be me, I'd probably be like, "Oh, you know what? We'll just do another time."
I know. Well, that's what I was thinking too. But I do like that they do that. I'm sure only good things come of that.
Yeah.
Because I would say, yeah, we'll do our thing another time.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go for coffee.
Yeah, but that's how she meets so many people and opens her circle up to all these people because they're open-minded.
Right.
I just loved so much about the Peruvian lifestyle, and just to be honest, listen to my body. I like when she talked about not making excuses if someone wants to do something and you're just like, you know what, I'm just not feeling it. I'm not feeling up to it. Or when she talked about someone asked her to have dinner plans and she was like, you know what, I'm going to be probably out late the night before. I'm probably not going to want to do this or whatever it was. But she was like, let's just do something different, or I don't think I'm going to feel like it. And I thought, gosh, that's so unique, because I think we always just make up something because you're scared of hurting their feelings or whatever. And most people don't even care,
Or I've had a tendency too to sometimes just go along anyway. Then I end up sabotaging the whole event.
Right?
Some way or the other. Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
And they know you're not in the mood.
No.
And it's like I tell you sometimes, just tell me you don't want to do this.
Right.
Like rather than try to push through it. I can tell on your face you're not happy.
Self-destructive tendencies start coming through, and it's just it's really weird. But no, I like that too.
Well, we hope that you all enjoyed this conversation as much as we did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you're looking for ways to support the pod, be sure to subscribe to the platform you're listening to us on. And if you haven't already, please give us a 5-star review or rating. It would mean so much for you to do that.
It would. It would also be fabulous if you would support Maya by following her on her socials. All the links are down in our show notes. You can visit her website and check out the free resources she offers.
If this episode resonated with you, or if you know of someone who would benefit from anything we talked about today, or any episode, our guests, or anything, please share it with a friend. It's a great way of supporting the podcast and us, and we really appreciate it.
Another way of supporting the pod is by leaving us a 5-star review or rating on the platform you're listening to us on. Oh, and go ahead and hit that subscribe button, because that also supports us. We would love that.
You can always find us, links we refer to during the show, and any of the podcast sponsors at arneradventures.com, or linked here in these show notes. And until next time, enjoy that journey you're on. We're wishing you lots of adventures.
Adios.
Arrivederci.
Au revoir.
Adios.
Sayonara.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Dos vidaniana.